Welcome to SBR Picks. I'm Nadia Holtz, and joining me today is SBR consultant Jordan Sharp to examine player props for Week 8. Nice to have you with us, Jordan. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Nadia. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Okay, so your first prop is around Andy Dalton and his passing yards total. Do you see him going under or over 240 passing yards today?
I think he's going to go under today. He has never had much success against the Baltimore Ravens. And even though he had a little bit success against them earlier in the season when he threw it for over 300 yards against them, now he's going to be without A.J. Green likely for this game, which is going to really hurt. And even before this first game this season, before that, Dalton has not had much success against the Ravens. He has, before this season, he had 6 career touchdowns and 11 career interceptions against the Ravens. And on top of that, in 3 of his last 4 games, he's really failed to have a very good game. He had 323 yards against the Panthers in that overtime tie game, but that was more of a fact that he had an extra quarter of football to really do that. In his 3 other games in front of and behind that, he's had less than 200 yards and barely over 200 yards. So I think it's going to be under 240 today against a tougher than expected Ravens defense.
Okay, the under it is. And secondly, your prop on Doug Baldwin is over or under 61 receiving yards. Do you see him having another big day this week?
I do. I think he is going to have another big day. Had a $123 last week on 10 targets, and now that Percy Harvin is not in this offense, Baldwin is probably the de facto #1 wide receiver. Wouldn't surprise me to see him have another 8 to 10 targets this week, and 61.5 receiving yards looks to be a pretty good overvalue for that at Bet365 at -125. The Seahawks right now, their defense isn't what it used to be. Their passing defense especially, and they're giving up some touchdowns and some yards to wide receivers and tight ends. The Seattle defense is giving up some yards, so that means they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more in this game, and I think Baldwin's going to be a direct recipient of that volume. So I think over 61 is a pretty good bet here.
Excellent. And finally, in the same game, you have Greg Olsen scoring a touchdown this week. Is this risky against the Seahawks?
I don't think so, because the Seahawks right now, so far through the first half of the season, have given up 8 touchdowns to opposing tight ends, which is number 1 in the entire NFL in most touchdowns given up to opposing tight ends. Greg Olsen's had 4 touchdowns, I think, in his last 3 or 4 weeks. I believe he scored 5 times total this season, and so he's been playing very well. He's obviously Cam Newton's favorite target, and with the way the Seahawks are giving up yards touchdowns to tight ends this season, I think Olsen at +120 is actually a pretty good value from Bet365, and I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at it.
All right, there you have it, Jordan Sharp's take. Best of luck to you, Jordan. Have a good one.
Thank you very much, Nadia.
For SBR Picks, this is Nadia Holtz.
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.